Welcome to the Principles of Programming. I'm Dan John from danjohnuniversity.com. Once again, I have to thank Brian for all the extra work he did on this, and I'm really happy to have this program. As we look over this, we're going to have 18 different lessons for you, 4 bonus appendices. I've written over 70 pages of original text, and we have about 2 hours of video lectures for you. And at the end of most of our sections, we're going to have a couple questions for you to answer, and really these are just to engage you, to get you thinking, and help you move along a little bit. The course is fairly simple. We have outlined it, I think, nicely. We begin with a general overview, and really it's going to be, when we first talk about programming for general population, I think the most important thing, and it's very underappreciated, is you have to respect the process, and that's going to be the very first one. I'm going to talk to you about some different concepts I use and phrases I use in the beginning. You'll hear about chefs and cooks, bus bench and park bench workouts, getting out the calendar, red, yellow, green markers. It'll be interesting, but to me, those are the most important things we do. Those foundational concepts. The big picture, if you want, the cliche now of the big rocks. That's what helps you long term with training. After that, we'll go into assessments, and I'll talk about, I rant about one of my biggest issues with the whole idea of before and after pictures. I have a better solution for it. We'll talk about habits, which I think are really important. And then we'll get into a very long section on assessments, and I hope you like that. When it gets to lifting, we will talk about movement. We will talk about the movement matrix that I use. Brian's going to kick in with explaining how the workout generator utilizes that and how we can change our exercises. We'll discuss this later too, with the concept called same but different. But I think it's really important that you have variation, but you don't have too much. We will continue to talk about things like intensity, volume, density, specialized variation, simplified programming, the nuts and bolts, the very simple basics I talk about. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the other things like load, rest periods, what I call deprogression, taking some time off and deloading. From there, we'll talk about what I consider one of the most confusing things about training general population. That's cardiovascular training. I'm not against it. I'm very much in favor of it, but it's easy to get confused. And we're going to talk about our solutions that we use at Dan John University, which are level changes and, of course, using the ground a lot, and the use of what we call power laws. Extremely intense work followed by a nice long walk. From there, we'll talk about organizing a training system. There's nothing earth-shattering in this section at all, but it's funny how these fundamental, simple points can be easily forgotten as we move ahead. And then finally, we'll come to a very short section on enough is enough, which I believe is something a lot of people miss. By the time you get there to enough is enough, I hope I have sold you that good programming, good training sessions that build up upon each other, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out, are far better than some insane challenge that destroys you. When I coach coaches, my coaching principle number 1 is called embrace the obvious. Not just acknowledge the obvious, but embrace it, fall in love with it. Hey, I know this. Listen, if I could get you to do 3 workouts a week, 3 good training sessions a week, push, pull, hinge squat, loaded carry, and then go for a walk. And the exercise, one exercise each, the rep scheme being 3 sets of 8. Okay, a minute rest in between. Okay, make it so there are no questions. And the walk is 40 minutes exactly, okay? If you did that 3 days a week, 52 weeks a year, At every meal, you had vegetables, protein, you drank a lot of water. You got 8 or 9 hours of sleep every night. Oh gosh, what else can we think about? This is what I call punch the clock workouts, which I'm a big believer in. In fact, that's kind of now to the point that's all I believe in, where you just show up like the good works person you are. You punch the clock, you get the job done, you punch the clock, and you walk away. There's nothing miraculous. There's nothing magical about any of this stuff. There's, as I say, it's my new cliche I use way too much now. There's nothing behind the curtain. I don't have anything in my bag. I don't have an assistant who's hiding the rabbit for the hat. That's what's going to get the work done. Show up, take care of business. Certainly, we're going to have some variations. We're going to have some easy days, and hopefully we'll have some hard days. Yes, we'll have variation because people get bored. Randomness for fun is Pat Flynn's famous statement. And it's great to have fun, but if I could get you to have fun showing up those 3 days a week and go for the walk after, the rest of your life would be a lot of fun too. Welcome to the program. I'm so glad you're taking this course. Be sure to utilize the forum. Be sure to use the questions. And I'm here to help. If you have any follow-up questions or problems, you know where to find me on the forum. I'm Dan John, and welcome to the basics, the foundations of programming.